Hola, bom dia, tudo bem? How are you, James?
Very well, Carl. How are you? It's a beautiful sunny morning here in Lourinhã. A little bit chilly, but the sun is out.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. I was talking to Astrid, who was on a bit earlier on. It does feel like spring is finally here in Portugal, right?
Oh, it does. Thank goodness. It feels like it's been a long winter this winter. I'm happy to take any sunshine. It does.
Yeah, long and wet, it feels like to me. So glad to see this sunshine. However, a sunny day. Was it? I'm guessing it was a nice day in Lourinhã yesterday, but you were behind the scenes. Were you cleaning and brewing, I believe?
This morning we are cleaning. It's my favourite day of the week, Carl. Cleaning. That's 90% of a brewer's job is cleaning. So yeah, we look forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting into it with gusto.
It sounds like one of those memes, doesn't it? You know, what people think I do and what I actually do. So what people think you do, I think, James, is drink beer all day, right? Tasting beer. I've got to taste it. I've got to test it. When in fact, what did you say? 90% of your life is just cleaning up and making sure you've got the perfect environment for brewing, by the sound of it.
That's right. Yeast is a fickle thing.
That sounds like an album from the 70s. Yeast is a fickle thing. Oh, sorry, carry on.
It might well have been. It might well have been a very good album for the 70s. I'm not aware of it, but yes. No, it's not. It's a common misconception that we spend all our time drinking. There are some brewers who do drink a lot, but I find that that kind of affects the end product a little bit, or can do if you're not too careful with it. Of course, we have to test, Carl. Of course, we have to test. Yes, and
yes.
Those times can be a little bit tricky in the morning if you're feeling a bit delicate. But yeah, I try to keep it in balance. Yes.
Oh, very good, very good. Yeah, because my mum and dad owned a pub for a little while, and I learned at that age, you know, when I was a youngster, I think I was around 10 or something like that. That there are definitely, I could see from my mother and father's contemporaries that there are those occasional drinkers who own pubs, and then there are some serious boozers who own pubs as well, aren't there? They're sort of stereotypical landlords. And they don't tend to last, do they? And they can be a bit grumpy as well. So you're not one of those. I love the atmosphere at your place at the Andsome Brewery in Lourinhã. It was lovely to see you when me and Colin visited you last month. And I believe you've got a chili beer in preparation. Is that what you call it, in preparation, brewing at the moment? How do you describe it?
I actually, yeah, you're very well informed, Carl. I brewed it yesterday, in fact, the chili beer. It was scheduled to be brewed earlier, but we've had such a run at the moment on other beers. We have the surfing competition that's just started in Peniche this morning, and I've been told from all of our wholesalers in Balliol and Peniche that they are fully booked. It's like August for them at the moment. There's people everywhere, so they are desperately clambering for beer to serve. So we've been I've also been preparing for this craft beer festival coming up next weekend in Caldas de Rainha. So it's been very, very busy on the brewing side of things.
That's wonderful. And thank you for the plug there at Expo Est. That's the convention centre in Caldas de Rainha. That's a big beer festival for this part of the country, if not for the whole country.
It is. I believe it's the first one in Caldas, actually in Caldas proper. We had kind of like a test one at the end of last year in which I saw you, but this one seems to me to be a lot bigger event. Yeah, with a lot more breweries, a lot more brewers, more music, more food, more everything. I think more people.
Okay, I had the impression it had been going for a little while. So this is a new thing, and so we'll invite people from all over the country to come to Caldas de Rainha, and I will find. Do you know the date off the top of your head there?
It's the Saturday and Sunday, the 16th and 17th of March.
Oh, cool, excellent, fantastic. And how are you preparing for that then? What does it take? I mean, you're clearly busy cleaning and brewing, and it's important to get out and go to these events, but it must be quite an upheaval for you. How do you prepare, and what do you take along to such an event?
That is the mystery, Carl. That is it. I mean, you really, as a brewer, you try and forecast demand, especially when it's fresh beer. You try to make enough, but not too much, especially this time of year. So we've been trying to concentrate on bringing a variety of beers, so we can chop and change. As one runs out, we can put a new one on. And I've been trying to get some experimental beers in the mix, as well as some aged beers. And so it's been a lot of planning to get to this point. So we have some aged stout with honey Jack Daniels, which I've been holding on to. A lot of people know I'm brewing it and it's ready, but I've been decided I'm not going to release it until the Caldas event. And also this chili beer that we're making as well. Hopefully that'll be ready in time, because that is really a good beer. It's very different. It sounds strange, but it kind of works.
That sounds wonderful. So tell us again then, what can we expect? And I found it actually. I already had put it on Craft Beer Corner on our website, so I'll put that onto the screen for everybody so that they can see that. And as you say, there are bands and there's going to be food. It's going to be quite the event there. But just take us through those again. The beers that you're holding back and that will be ready for the 16th and 17th of March.
There's definitely going to be an Imperial Stout, 12.5% Imperial Stout, that's been aged for 5 months in honey Jack Daniels. We have tried that before and it worked really, really well. But I mean, the thing about aged beers, especially aged with spirits, is that you're never 100% sure how it's going to come out. So I'm kind of interested. I've taken testers, as we talked about earlier, a few testers, and it looks good. It smells good. It looks good. I'm quite excited about it. The thing is,
well, you really never know, though, do you? I mean, I guess a lot of this has to be left to the gods of brewing and nature. And as you said, yeast being a fickle thing, you never really know, do you? And you're working a lot on your intuition and experience.
That's right. Yeah, but that's exactly it, Carl. I mean, you really don't know. You're right. You're working with a living organism, so temperature, everything can really, one small slip up here or there can make all the difference. So I've tried to be very, very careful, especially with this particular one, because it's one I like to hang my hat on as being a really, really good Imperial Stout. I hope so anyway. Very hopeful.
I cannot wait. So there we go. Thank you for that reminder. We do have a section on our website here called Craft Beer Corner, and it features your wonderful, there's a little slideshow of your wonderful brewery and outlet there. Taproom. Is that the correct term? It's your taproom.
It's interesting, yeah. I would call it a tap room, just because we brew on the premises. Everything's brewed here on the premises, and so the idea is that it comes straight out of the fermenter into the barrel, and then you can drink it straight away. It hasn't travelled anywhere. But interestingly, the Portuguese don't seem to have a word. If anybody knows, then please send us a message. But I've talked to lots of people, and they really just have cervejaria, which, yes, as you probably know, is not always a tap room or a brewery. It could be just a place that sells beer.
That seems to be the case, doesn't it? And it's quite impressive because often there are those massive stainless steel tanks above the bar that are like a great advert and almost a challenge to people going in to see if they can be emptied. Yeah. That's the closest word, I suppose, cervejaria. But that's not necessarily anything that's been brewed on the premises. It's like a gas station or a petrol station, isn't it? Where a lorry comes along and fills up the great big tanks, and people slowly attempt to empty them during an evening. Okay, so that's interesting. Antonio F., if he's watching and joining us, might have a word for that. But taproom, we'll leave that as a little bit of a mystery, and we'll come back to that. I now know what I'm doing on the 16th and 17th of March. And on Saturday, Osmosis, the Jaya Trio, and Braza Duo will be there. Branny, he's fantastic. Branny's wonderful. We featured his music on the show here. The Four Horsemen, of course, and the Bombos, and Nelson Rodriguez is a bit of a local legend here. And on the Sunday, Modest Midas. Of course, that's Jessica Martins, I think, isn't it? Escola de Concertinas, de Graciera, Rubin Kazin, the Silver Coast Blues Band, Cauda de Tesura, and the Vintage Vinyls will be playing. So who's coming along to that? Let us know. Now, you mentioned as well, and we'll bring this onto the screen, the World Surf League Championships, because you know a thing or two about surfing as well, don't you? You're involved in that world too.
We were, yeah. Before we started brewing, we were very heavily involved in the surf industry. We ran a surfing publication which tested surf equipment all over the world and wrote reviews on it. So we were sent equipment. We had people working for us in different continents, and it was kind of honest reviews for buyers, kind of like a witch of surfing. That was the idea. We ran that for a good amount of time.
Do you only do fun things? I mean, you're brewing beer now, and you were in surfing before. I mean, these are great lifestyle choices, James.
Well, I think that's it. You've got to love what you do, Carl. I think that's it. I'm sure you love what you do as well.
I do. I really do, and I really admire what you've done here. So, can we find out a bit more about this? for those people who, I mean, people know Nazaré now, don't they? Nazaré's definitely put Portugal on the map, and some Tom and Toddy who are on our show on Monday, they watched the movie coming over about the big waves in Nazaré. But it's not all for the surfing. People in the know in the surfing world, it's not all about Nazaré, is it? This, for example, the World Surf League Championships that you mentioned, this is in Peniche and Baleal. Give us a sense of the scale of this and how important this is on the world stage of surfing, if you can.
It is huge. It's one of the. I liken it to anything else. It's I guess if you're into Formula One and they have 24 stops in Formula One, I think currently they have 12 per year of these top league surfers. So there's a division of I think there's like 20 or 24 at the moment of the top surfers in the world that tour all year to go to these spots. And Peniche or Super Tubes in Peniche, which is where the event is at, is the only one currently in Europe. So it's very, very important for any European world surfers, world-class surfers that are here. It's their home event. And it is a very, very, very well-respected wave amongst them as well. It's Super Tubes is the beach it's at, and it's known for heavy barrels and heavy conditions. I think it actually started this morning about 8 o'clock. And looking at the forecast, we've got some huge swell coming in with the event window. So it could be really, really worth, if anybody's in the area or fancies taking the trip down there, you can just rock up. It's free entry. You sit on the beach, or there's some stands provided, and there's food and there's music and there's other things there. It is really a fantastic day out.
I had no idea. So why is it called the Super Tubes Beach? Is that a sponsorship thing, or is it naturally called the Super Tubes Beach?
The break is Super Tubos, yeah. So it's named that really because it is a barreling wave. It's a very heavy, comes straight out of deep water and hits the sandbanks there. And the way Super Tubes is angled, it's angled for southwesterly swells, and it's sheltered from the predominant north wind. So a north wind there would be offshore, which is exactly what we want for surfing. So that's why it's called Super Tubes. It's it's a very technical wave. It's very tricky to surf, and that's what people go to the beach to see these guys battling with these huge tubes.
I had no idea. This is so great, and what a wonderful thing for Portugal to be hosting the only one of its kind in Europe at the moment. And how does it work? I mean, how do these world-class surfers get marked or ranked, or how is their performance measured?
That is a very contentious thing. The World Surf League, as you can imagine, how do you rate one wave over another? I believe the judges split it into speed, power, flow, and maneuvers. So it would depend certainly on the wave you chose to catch, and it would also depend on the maneuvers you do, how you link the maneuvers, and the speed you carry through the maneuvers. Basically, it's split into 4 sections, as I understand it, and they're scored out of 10. They have a 30-second heat, and they choose the best 2 waves within that heat to give you a score out of 20. And those who win will advance to the next round.
That's amazing. So thank you for this insight. I wasn't expecting to be having this conversation with you about surfing. So glad we are, though. And this is such an important thing for the country. This is, as well as Nazaré, this is clearly the whole popularity of Portugal isn't just about real estate and migration. This is a surfing mecca and capital for Europe as well, right?
Oh, it's huge, absolutely huge. I think it's the fastest growing sport in Portugal at the moment. Don't quote me on that. Maybe that's golf, but it will certainly be up there in the top 5, I would say. And I think the important thing in this area, especially, is Peniche area was historically quite a poor area. But at the moment, you can see, if you take immigration aside, you can see that what surfing has brought to the area, and what this competition in particular, they put it on the map. I believe the first one was in 2009. It was part of the Rip Curl Pro search, and then they basically stopped searching because they'd found the perfect spot. And ever since then, it's become a yearly thing.
That's so wonderful. We've got James, the other James, who lives in Ericeira, who believes that Ericeira has a small competition or 2 each year as well. And judging surfing is kind of like judging gymnastics or ice skating or diving. A panel of judges gives scores, and maybe they've got little boards with numbers on. And it's not unlike brewing in the sense that you are relying on nature, as there are variables here, aren't there, that are hard to predict. And I guess that's part of what makes a great beer or what makes a great surfer is how they cope with the uncertainty and how spontaneous they can be and innovative they can be in the moment of nature taking its course.
I think that's it. It's hugely about pressure for them. I think back in the day, it was surfers weren't really known for being professionals. They were more sort of guys that laid on the beach, and went out for beers and dealt with these competitions with a hangover. Whereas these days, they are just fully committed professional surfers, athletes. They really are. And
Right.
it's how they perform in that 30 minutes. They have 30 minutes to perform. So a lot of it must be psychological. They must have to block out all the crowds on the beach and the pressure, because this is, it's huge money and careers on the line now. It's the sport has changed dramatically in the last 10 years, I would say, Carl.
And as you're saying, it's changed Peniche as well. How lovely to hear that. In their downtime, then, you're predicting, or the word on the street is that these surfers and the people who've come to watch them will be looking for a nice beer in the evening, something to eat. So that's good for you in Lourinhã as well, is it?
Very good. Yeah, well, not so much Lourinhã. We're a little bit out of it here in Lourinhã. I think surfers are they'll stick around that area, but we do supply some beers so our beers are on tap in Baleal. And those places are absolutely full, chock-a-block full. And I think in the evening they have parties and they have certain events, and there are certain brands, I think Billabong and Quicksilver, Rip Curl as well, they're all there. They have these after events with the pros, signing events, and other things that go on. So they're very interested in taking a lot more beer than they normally would at this time of year, particularly.
Excellent. Okay, before you go then, I'd like to find out from you what else might be happening for the rest of the year. So you're brewing for Caldas. That's the 16th and 17th of this month. We hope to see a few gumpers there. Is there anything else you're getting ready for the rest of the year around Portugal for Craft Beer Corner?
Yeah, there's so many things that are coming up. We have the 50th anniversary of the Revolution, the Independence Day. I think, is it the 25th of April? I think
25th of April, yeah, 50th anniversary. Absolutely.
We are brewing. We've got permission to brew, and we're brewing a double Irish red for that to signify the poppy. So that will be a limited series beer, just produced in a bottle. It'll be on tap in the tap room probably for a week or so, but then it'll be in a bottle after that. 9.2%, I think, in a big bottle, and it'll be all nice wax sealed, and that'll be it. Just a limited run of those ones, just to celebrate that occasion.
Very good. Glad to hear it.
I do have some news of another couple of breweries that are local to us here. I don't know if you guys know. There is Cinque Mayo Tap Room in Ericeira, and Andsome Brewery in Colares are combining to make one brewery. I spoke to the boss last night, Tio, and he told me that Cinque Mayo are known for more malt-heavy forward beers like barley wines and double beers and things like that. And Hopsin are more known for their hop-forward beers, the more popular beers at the moment, IPAs, New England IPAs, hazy IPAs, and they are joining forces and bringing both different sides of the craft brewery into one house, which is really, really exciting. I can't wait. And I believe they're both going to be there at the Caldas Beer Festival as well. So if you go there, you can quiz them about it and stuff, because that project for me is super exciting.
How wonderful. Bit of industry insider information there. Thank you, James, for bringing that. So you are our regular alongside Owen, who couldn't join us sadly this morning, but he'll be back next month. And looking forward to seeing you then as well with more industry insight. You've been a nice distraction for Bairandi this morning. In and out, he says, like a dog at a fair. Builders keep chipping the power out, and then he's distracted like Homer Simpson. Sweet beer. Hearing you talking about beer. So thank you very much, James. Look, just imagine the first Hawaiians on their wood carved boards standing still while gliding in a wave with their eyes closed and feeling life. It almost makes me want to get on a surfboard. Do you still surf?
I do still surf, yeah. Well, I'm not brewing, I'm surfing, one or the other.
What a life here in Portugal. And James, your thoughts are hi to Hawaii, mine to Frankie and Annette. I'm not sure if I think that's for the other James and not for you. Do you know of a Frankie and an Annette?
I may do. All
right, mate. Well, I hope you have lots of people buying your beer who are coming for the World Surfing event there, and I look forward to seeing you on the 16th and 17th in Caldas de Rainha.
Lovely. Will do. Thanks, Carl.
All right, cheers, mate. Thank you so much for that. Bye for now.
Cheers,
Ciao, ciao.
cheers.
See ya. Bye-bye. How amazing. Beer and surfing this morning on the Good Morning Portugal show.